Okay, picture this. A server crashes. A production line just grinds to a halt. You've got catastrophic data loss. Our first instinct, right? It's to find that one thing, that immediate culprit we can point to and say, aha, that's it. That's the cause. But here's the thing. Focusing on that one single, obvious point of failure, well, that's a trap. It's how we get stuck solving the exact same problems over and over and over again because we're only treating the symptom. Because the real problem, the one that's actually breaking your system, is almost always hiding somewhere deeper. So today, we're going to uncover it. We're going to use this powerful technique called root cause analysis. We're going to learn how to go from being a firefighter, constantly putting out flames, to being a fire marshal, preventing the blaze before it even has a chance to start. So you fix an issue, you feel good about it, and then, a week later, it's back. This is what I call the symptom lie. It feels like you're making progress, but really, you're just stuck in a cycle of temporary fixes. This is all about the huge difference between putting out fires and actually fireproofing the building. And this is exactly where root cause analysis, or RCA, comes into play. I want you to think of it less like simple troubleshooting and more like detective work. Seriously, it's a structured investigation to find the real reason something went sideways, so you can design a solution that makes that problem pretty much impossible to repeat. Our brains are just wired to fix what's right in front of us, the symptom. But a symptom is just the final, visible thing that goes wrong. The root cause? That's the hidden, fundamental reason that kicks off the whole chain reaction. Let's really break down that difference. This right here illustrates the whole idea perfectly. Fixing a symptom is kind of like taking a painkiller for a headache. Sure, you get temporary relief, but fixing the root cause is like finding and removing the tumor that's causing the headache in the first place. See the difference? One is reactive firefighting, the other is proactive, permanent problem solving. It's a game changer. So how in the world do we find that tumor? Well, it's not about random guessing. It's a really disciplined process. And it all comes down to this simple but super powerful three-step framework. First, you define your mission. Second, you dig for clues. And third, you fix it for good. So let's jump into step one and see how this all builds. All right, before you can even think about digging for clues, you need a precise map. You have to clearly and specifically define what the problem actually is. Because without a crystal clear definition, your investigation is just going to be unfocused, and you'll end up chasing shadows. Now, the absolute best way to create that map is by using this SMART framework. So instead of saying something vague like, the website is slow, a SMART problem statement would be, website checkout page load time has increased by 50% in the last 3 weeks, causing a 15% drop in completed sales. See the difference? It's specific, measurable, and time-bound. It gives the team a really clear target to investigate. With that clear mission in hand, the investigation begins. This is where we put on our detective hats and really start to dig past those surface-level symptoms. We're going to look at 2 fundamental, time-tested tools that investigators use to find the truth. Our first tool is just elegantly simple, but it is incredibly powerful: the 5 whys. It was actually developed by Sakichi Toyoda, the founder of Toyota, and it's built on this beautifully simple idea. To find the root cause of any problem, you just have to keep asking why until you literally can't anymore. Let's use a classic example here. A machine on the factory floor just suddenly stops working. So we ask our first why. The circuit overloaded and blew a fuse. Now, here's the thing. A reactive team stops right here. They replace the fuse and just wait for the exact same thing to happen again next week. But we're not going to do that. We keep digging. We ask again, why did that circuit overload in the first place? And we discover the bearings weren't properly lubricated, which caused friction. Okay, now we're getting closer. We're past the electrical symptom and we're into a mechanical cause. But again, a really common mistake is to stop here, add some oil, and call it a day. We have to keep going. Because this is the crucial question: why did a person fail to lubricate them? This is where we pivot from a technical problem to a process problem, which, let me tell you, is almost always where the true root cause is hiding. And there it is. The weekly maintenance checklist was incomplete. The root cause isn't a broken part, it's a broken process. And by fixing the checklist, we don't just fix this one machine, we prevent this failure across every machine, forever. That's the power of this. But hey, what if there isn't one simple answer? For more complex problems, we use something called the fishbone diagram. It helps teams brainstorm all the potential causes across different categories. Think of it as a way to organize your whys. So instead of a single chain, you might investigate potential causes related to people, or the processes, or even the equipment itself, making sure no stone is left unturned before you start digging deeper. Okay, once you've dug up all the clues and you've identified that root cause, it is time for the final and, frankly, the most important step, creating a solution that ensures this problem is fixed permanently. This right here is the payoff. A corrective action, that's the immediate fix. It gets the machine running today. You replace the fuse, you lubricate the bearings. Done. But the preventative action, that's what changes the future. It's updating the maintenance checklist itself. That one little change saves the organization from countless future breakdowns, costs, and delays. So let's just quickly recap the key takeaways here. First, stop chasing symptoms and start investigating the underlying system. Second, remember that problems are rarely a single event, but a whole chain of causes. Third, use simple tools like the 5 whys to get from the technical problem to the systemic one. And finally, maybe the most important rule of all, the goal is to fix the process, not to blame a person. And that leaves us with a final question. Every recurring frustration you have, whether it's at work or in your personal life, is a symptom. It's a sign of a deeper, hidden cause. By applying this kind of thinking, you're not just solving problems, you're actually building more resilient systems for the future. So what's the root cause you've been ignoring?